we've got our own Patriots on set. With us today to discuss his latest public comments. Hello and welcome to NFL Live. I'm Field Yates alongside those two former Patriots, Rob Ninkovich and also Damien Woody, plus our guest analyst for the day, Ryan Leaf. Great to have you and your unique perspective on all things, including the quarterbacks we'll get into. And it's another day, another twist, sort of, in the Tom Brady destination decision. We move from lip reading at a basketball game to actually hearing Brady speak to UFC President Dana White, of course. I mean, who else? White was giving Brady the hard sell to choose Las Vegas in free agency, and here's what Tom Brady had to say.
I know it's been a lot of patience for me, and obviously being where I've been for 20 years, it's been an amazing experience, and I don't know what the future holds right now. I'm just trying to be patient through this process, my first time going through it. And in the meantime, I'm going to spend a lot of time with my family over the next 10, 12 days, and we got a little vacation plan, which I'm looking forward to.
All right, Adam Schefter added this perspective on Twitter. Bill Belichick and Tom Brady have spoken recently, but those talks were not yesterday, meaning Tuesday, and the tone of their discussion was business as usual per source. Still many questions left to answer. So, Rob, I'll begin with you. From the comments that were made from Tom Brady to Dana White, just speaking generally, what did you make of what he had to say on Instagram Live, one of your favorite places to spend some time?
Well, you know, like he said, like Tom said, he's never been through this process, so this is a learning process for him as well. But look, Dana White probably has some alternative motive as well because he's with the UFC. They're out of Vegas. I think Tom has some partnerships with the UFC as well. But look, when you're approaching free agency, Tom's going on vacation. He's probably trying to get himself removed from the situation and let his agent do a lot of the speaking for him. Because at this point, what can he do? What can Tom do? He's just going to sit back and see what teams are interested, see what numbers are thrown at him, see what different situations are brought to him. And I'm sure he's kind of enjoying the situation. He's never been a free agent in his whole career. So I take it he's enjoying it a little bit. You know, you got Julian Edelman selling T-shirts, vote, you know, Tom come back T-shirts. I'm sure Tom's getting a little piece of that. So, look, this is uncharted territory for Tom Brady and the Patriots. So it's a little odd. It's weird to see this going down. And, you know, unlike other teams like the Saints and Drew Brees, where they specifically said and put it out there, like, this is our quarterback. Moving forward, we're going to do whatever we can to get him back. And even Drew Brees said that. This is a little different situation. I think, you know, from day one, I thought that he was going to try and explore other options, and I think that's going to happen.
I want to get your perspective, Damien, on negotiating business as usual with Bill Belichick. You've been at that table before, but you know, regardless of where you were prior to Brady's comments about where he thought he would land, did yesterday's, I guess, comments, discussion with Dana White make you feel any different about where you were previously?
No, I mean, I've been one of the guys that's been saying for a while I thought Brady would be leaving, and you know, nothing that happened in that Instagram Live has really changed that. Look, I think when you look at everything that's going on with Tom Brady, I've always said that this decision will be bigger than Tom, Bill, and Mr. Kraft. There's also the family component that's going to factor into this. And Rob, you know, talked about it as well, the fact that this is the first time Tom Brady is going to be a free agent in 20 years. Okay, this is the first time that other organizations will be able to approach Tom and shower him with that adulation. Listen, every player likes that. Every player has an ego, and when you're playing in that Patriot system, you know, the Patriot way. It's just one way. It's just,
I'm smiling for him.
Right,
I'm smiling
exactly.
for him because I mean, he's never had the love that he's had. You know, all these teams are giving him right now. And once free agency starts, I mean, there's a lot of teams out there that are going to show him some love.
That's right. And I just feel like with Tom saying that he's going on family vacation, and that's going to lead right into free agency. Don't think his people haven't had these backroom discussions with other teams. He probably has a pretty good view of the landscape of what's going to happen.
Well, it's hard for us to not decipher the play-by-play of everything that happens, every tweet and Instagram post and you name it, Ryan. But you've been of the mind that Tom Brady is going to stay in New England. If you take a big step back from it all, just speaking generally, why is it that you think he stays with the Patriots?
Well, I certainly don't have the same Patriot way that we have going on there. But I will say this. Bill Belichick and I shared the same floor at the Super Bowl, and there was a time where we would walk from the elevator to our rooms together and have a conversation. So I feel fully aware of where Tom Brady's going right now, okay?
A couple of conversations in the hallway does that for you,
Yes,
right?
it does, you know. He knew that we were calling college football games this year. How does he know that stuff?
Bill
How does he know
knows
that?
everything.
Spies.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
For me, I just feel like this is his legacy, right? And there is something to be said about wanting to go out on your own. Because what has been the conversation for the last few years when they've been winning Super Bowls? Is it because of Tom, or is it because of Bill Belichick? And I listened to Rob before the show today talking about what that would look like. And we could be looking at a situation a year from now where, let's say, Bill goes 12-4 and wins the East again. Tom goes someplace else and it's not as successful, and they're 6-10. That clearly will tell us what. And you take a chance, you take a risk when you do something like that. You know what you have there. You know what 20 years has looked like. Take in all the adulation, right? Go out on the visits like you're a recruit going to college, right? Go out on the visits, see what people are going to throw at you. But ultimately, I think he stays there. It's his best chance to win another Super Bowl.
The other 40-something quarterback that is scheduled to be a free agent, we know where he's going, is Drew Brees. And he actually weighed in on Brady's situation on WEEI radio in Boston earlier today.
Well, I can't speak for Tom, but I know for me, being at this stage in my career, I just want to win. Tom has been a guy who's kind of been the model for all of us for a lot of years. I don't think any of this is about money for Tom. I think it's about winning another championship. I also think it's probably about feeling like he's in a situation where he's got all the pieces in place to do that.
How many years do you think you can keep doing this?
I'm not just saying this, but honestly, I'm 1 year at a time. Now listen, if you ask me how long do I think I could do this, I think I could do this to age 45 or beyond.
You do?
I'm 41 right now, but there's other factors. It's not just a matter of can you do it, it's what are you sacrificing in order to be able to play this game and give it the time and dedication that it deserves. Because even the off season, there's a lot of time and dedication to this, and then certainly once the season starts, we get just lock ourselves up and go to work. It's a lot of time away from the family, there's a lot of sacrifice there. So I think for me, it's truly 1 year at a time.
I might have gray hair by the time these two guys retire, but look at where they stand historically. Two of, if not the greatest quarterbacks to ever play football, certainly two of the best we've seen over the past 20 years. Rob, because you played with both of these quarterbacks, you get first chops on which one of these two guys, Tom Brady or Drew Brees, outlast the other, understanding that Tom is just a couple of years older than Drew right now.
Well, I think Drew hit on the family aspect of it, and you said this as well. There's a lot of other factors that go into it when you have kids, and it really affects you. I remember when my girl was born, it really affected my outlook on playing, how long I wanted to play. You know, in 2014, my daughter was born, and I was like, man, maybe I don't need to play until the wheels fall off. You know, I need to save a little bit for the future. And, you know, when these quarterbacks go into the season, they're in the film room, they're getting prepared every week, they're not home a lot. So I think that each could play till they're 45. But they both have families. They both have kids. You know, you look at Drew's Instagram; it's all his sons playing sports and all those different things that you're going to miss out on when you're in a season. So I think Drew sounds like he's more ready to kind of play another season, and then he could potentially retire after one season. But Tom seems set on playing as long as he possibly can. You know, he said it years ago, 45 was a goal, right? So when you put a goal out there, I mean, look, I'm 36. I could probably still play, but do I want to? I'm good. I don't want to take on fullbacks.
You're okay.
I'm good right here. I don't want to take fullbacks on. But, you know, Tom is motivated. And when you're motivated and you have a goal, you know, it's hard to stop a man.
Down the line, Damien, who do you got? Which one's sticking around longer?
I'm going to have to say Tom. I think that Tom has a singular focus. I think both of those guys love football. They're passionate about the game of football. I think, you know, speaking with, you know, what Rob was saying, Tom has been adamant about playing until he's 45, period. And I think this is a situation for him where it's like, I want to survey the landscape. What's going to give me the best opportunity to play that long and be able to win another championship or whatever, you know, however many championships come after that. I think with Drew Brees is, listen, he could absolutely, in my mind, play that long because he plays in the division, two teams in a dome, so the weather's not going to be a factor. But as you listen to him, you can see the family aspect. It's like, okay, I don't know how much longer I can really play the game of football and be away from my kids.
Making it 3 for 3 here. Do you think Brady outlasts Brees?
You know, it's hard to say. I don't necessarily think that the family aspect for Drew Brees is any more important than what it is for Tom Brady. I mean, you spoke to his decision making here. I do think statistic-wise, you know, I think Tom would like to be the number one guy when it's all said and done. But what Drew Brees gets to do in that offense, statistically, they're gonna be better. He's gonna have more touchdowns, more attempts, things like that, when what you do in New England. But the best chance for him to stay and play longer and longer is to stay with the Patriots. I think you go to another place and there's a struggle. People see a decline in play, and that may be significantly smaller than if he were to stay in New England. As for Drew, it may be a year-to-year thing, but he's staying with Sean Payton. If Sean Payton's still there and they're rocking that offense together, I think it continues and continues and continues. This could be a new competition between the two guys. Who can outlast one another?
20 years. Ridiculous. We'll keep you updated on everything with Brady throughout the show. And they're now just 13 days until the start of free agency, which means there's plenty of time for Brady to be speculated to about 12 other teams and have about 6 other Instagram stories. But another developing story on NFL Live is our own Josina Anderson is reporting that running back Melvin Gordon is expected to test the market, according to a source. Gordon, who held out of the first 3 games of the 2019 season, just completed his 5th year with the Los Angeles Chargers. Can't say it was a stellar year here for Melvin Gordon. Damien, is right now the time for Melvin Gordon to want to be testing the market in free agency?
Well, I always say when it comes to free agency, you want to hit it when you're hot. And that's not the case with Melvin Gordon. I mean, the combination of the holdout, the season that he had, with other running backs, signing those big contracts, and the return on those contracts is not looking the best. So I don't think he's going to get the big money that maybe he had hoped for in free agency.
Rob, you tackled a ton of running backs in your career. Will this be the kind of player, Melvin Gordon, based off what you saw last year, that a team should be working hard to make a priority to make the focal point of their offense next year?
Well, it's tough when some teams set the market at the running back position, like the Cowboys, and they pay somebody so much money. And then you have another running back that's going to hit the market like, look, I should be getting what he's making. But that's not the case around the league. Some teams value the running back position completely different than other teams. I mean, you look at the Patriots, for example, they have a good group of backs that really, they're not paid crazy, but they have a good running back crew who they get the job done. They don't have to overpay anybody. And a running back position, we know that these guys take a beating, and their shelf life is very short. They're not able to stay in their prime very long. So if you do overpay one of these guys, if you do overpay, you could be hurt like LA did. They overpaid in that position, and we're seeing Gurley kind of slow down a little bit with the knee, and he hasn't been as explosive. So you have to be cautious as a team, as a GM, to go and pay a running back a ton of money, because we know that the position doesn't last very long and they take a beating. So for a guy to stay in his prime for, 6-7 years, it's pretty rare to do that. So I would say no. And like you said, he's not hitting the market, crushing it right now. He's kind of limping into the market.
Ryan, you live in Los Angeles, where there's a lot of talk right now about Todd Gurley's contract, how that has aged poorly just 2 seasons into the extension. But you also played quarterback and know the value of a running back sitting right beside you in the backfield. If you were a GM, is right now the time to be spending on any running back, Melvin Gordon included?
Well, you can't go out and break the bank. We're going to talk about that a little bit later, on who you go out as a free agent. But you need a solid running back, a guy that can take a lot of pressure off, maybe a young quarterback and things like that. But for Melvin Gordon last year, he blinked first. That's bottom line, right? He held out. He needed to hold out the entire season. Otherwise, his worth goes down, and that's what's happened. And now he's going to test the free agent market. And if you're a general manager out there, you've watched what the LA Rams did in the precedent-setting contract with Todd Gurley, like you said, and it hasn't paid the dividends. And they've had to limit what they do offensively in other places.